Welcome back, everybody. We are here again to continue our entertainment for everybody, and we have answers to some questions answers from the audience to some questions from us.
Yes.
Those were words.
Opposite. No, it makes sense.
We have questions from the audience and some poll stuff and some other things. I did want to just jump in and mention the DBK video that mentions the QSP Bison is a really good, interesting video to watch, and you should watch it. They destroy a manly knife in that video.
In what video? I'm sorry? The
DBK, Dutch bushcraft knives.
I see.
Yeah, QSP Bison.
Okay, and I don't own a Bison, but I do own the Gunny Sidekick, which is very, very similar in blade profile to what the Bison's going to be. So I'm looking forward to comparing the two. And all y'all should probably just buy it off of our website in, a week or two when we get the QSP Bison on our website, rather than buying it off of Drop, because I'm going to shamelessly plug twice tonight my own company. Anyway.
This is the second video. It's okay.
Yeah, it's one per episode. I'll probably do it again. Let's be honest. Anyway.
We should. On that note, we put out a couple polls to the audience this week, specifically in response to a comment that we got last week about potentially doing kind of a scoreboard for our scores of different knives and stuff like that. And Nigel brought up a good point, whether it was a highest to lowest score ranking, similar to the lap times in Top Gear, with like the celebrity lap times and whoever gets to the very top and things like that, or if it was a hot or not, buy it or don't, like
cool wall.
This one's good, that one's not. And the best part about this is because of the way this poll came out, we get to decide however we want to do it. So there, haha.
I already have my opinions, but let's continue on.
It is.
You've always got your opinions. Come on.
Oh shit. Literally split right down the center. 50-50. 11 votes to 11 votes.
Oh, snap.
We get to make our own choice.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So, I'm going to be honest. I think I like the cool wall idea.
Okay, before we get into our own opinions, I'm just curious, because you always have notables and you know who voted.
I didn't look.
Oh, can you look, or you don't have access? I was gonna say, out of who's in our live chat right now.
All right. Give me one.
I'm wondering who voted for what.
I need to put my glasses on and put them right down at the end of my nose like an old man here.
Because realistically speaking, we do have a good audience. They come in every week, and they're the ones that are watching it on Sunday compared to rewatching it. And someone on Instagram may be rewatching it, or they might not be, and they're just voting for the sake of voting.
So we'll start with lap times because that's the first one that comes up. And
right.
I can say right off the hop that Ben in chat voted for lap times. So did Ahsoka Edge and Mr. Fisk and Darren. So I guess we're doing that one by that argument. On the flip side of things, people in chat, Zinks. I say we go with Zinks. I think he's on to something.
Yeah, everyone else is making us do more work.
For the cool or not? Is that what you're saying?
It's less work to do the cool wall than it would be.
Okay, so here's the thing, though. But the best lap time, as far as like highest ranking knife for our channel that we've scored, is super cool idea. Yes. I understand it's more work, and I'm actually willing to put in some of that extra work behind the scenes. I will volunteer my time to be able to figure out averages for scores and things like that. I think I could probably even have it done in a week's time if I went back and actually started to.
That's a lot of video watching.
Sucker.
No, it's not. It's all of about 30 seconds because Nigel posts it all at the very end. and he posts all 4 scores. So because Nigel
Right.
has done that for the last 2 years, all you have to do is go to that one little clip and you can see everyone's scores for that particular episode.
And if
Yeah,
it's a
I haven't-
if it's a straight across the board average, I guess it doesn't matter which, like, who scored what particularly.
All we're taking is the 4 scores and dividing it by
Okay.
4, and that's going to give you your average, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah, and I haven't been doing that for the recent live ones, but there haven't been too many of that.
yes, correct. We can go through the 8 of those or the whatever
Yeah.
and figure those out afterwards, but everything else is a very, very small window that you could just pause, get clips, add it up, continue on, next video type of thing. So for me, I'm leaning towards best lap time because I like the who's got the best score running thing in a knife category. I think that's kind of unique on what's the best knife we've ever scored type of thing. And I know what it is already. And it sucks that that's the knife that's going to win. And I won't reveal it until next week. But yeah.
All right. Yeah, definitely pocket that information away for later.
It's fine. If I'm wrong, I'll be surprised. But I can almost guarantee I know what knife it is.
All right.
I'm gonna think about it.
We could predict it in the 3rd episode and
There you
leave
go.
people
No.
until next week because I'm just making a prediction, but I have a pretty good guess.
That's fair. Mr. Fisk is saying in chat that the people who want the cool wall just want to open the video, go to the wall, look, and then switch to a Shabazz video.
If it's a gem, there's a lot of
Yep.
standards for a gem or a not gem. There's a lot of YouTube videos that do that format, right? So
And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Shabazz's definition for a gem is not necessarily the be-all, end-all. He has a lot of good points, but hey, thin, slicey blade stock only gets you so far in certain settings. Just gonna
no,
say,
it gets you a lot further than you realize, Joe. You should try it.
lies. You say
as I'm stropping the most ridiculously beveled knife ever, because that's the one I'm holding right now. Anyway,
yeah. No, I'm just being salty. That's all it is.
I mean, we're used to it.
I am curious to see what our top 10 are, though. I mean, I haven't really bothered to keep a lot of that information in my head over the last few years, so.
and
I'm interested.
On a complete side note, I saw Mr. Fisk's fixed blade recently. I am super intrigued by it. It looks pretty. And knowing that it's 52-100, you get some patina all up in that business, for sure.
So the exciting thing about that for me was the fact that me and Joe were talking about that knife, and we were speculating as to how it had that translucent yellow handle. Because
yeah.
if you read the description from the maker, he literally says that it's a yellow liner. He doesn't mention what the actual handle scale is. And we were speculating that it was Jade G10. And it is Jade G10 with a yellow liner behind it, which transfers that yellow through it and gives it a kind of translucent, ghosty kind of appearance. It's really fucking cool.
It's a nice use of
Interesting.
material, rather than just seeing, I don't know, solid jade green G10 and calling it natural G10 and just being done with it. Nice way to transform the material, for sure.
Mr. Fisk with you, Joe, down with Shabazz and his box cutters.
I could go on a rant about this, but no, I'm not. I'm not gonna, because that would be disastrous.
That's fair. That's fair.
How many questions do we have here?
We have a second poll, and then we've got a couple questions from the audience, and we're going to have to probably go to the audience for more questions.
Before we get too much further, I do want to mention Ben's comment up here. Was asking about if we were going to have different boards, such as fixed blades, folders, and others. And I definitely do like that idea, but primarily we made a decision early on in our days to try and mostly be pocket knives and EDC sort of thing. From time to time, we do dabble into fixed blades, so there might be potential for another board for that. And I'm curious as to what you think the other might be.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Have we reviewed an other?
Yeah.
Neck knives? Do they fall into an other
Is
category?
this other?
Well, we don't offer.
Traditional.
Have we reviewed a traditional yet? Aside from the
The
root?
rustic gent is probably the closest.
We
Yeah.
did a manly as
Yeah,
well
we
because
did
it's a
one too.
slip joint.
Okay. So yeah, there's the rook, the manly. Huh. Yeah.
But yes,
I don't know.
And we haven't done flashlights, but we've talked about doing flashlights.
That
Yeah.
would fall into the other. Potentially. Maybe, I don't know.
No, it could very well.
And I think the fixed blades, and I think my property is ideal for it, but it would have to be at a time where we could actually get together and do some bushcrafting and stuff like that type of thing. And I do have the space to be able to do it on my property. We've got the woods materials to be able to do some reviews.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think if we were to get into fixed blades, I think more people would appreciate that style of review, DBK style review, maybe not shooting them with guns because we're paying money for these knives. I'll baton it. If I break it batoning, it's worth breaking because I want to baton pretty much every single knife I own.
Yeah.
And if I can't do it, then I don't want that knife in my collection. But
Dennis has the wood from Zinc CDC.
I said materials. Maybe I
Oh.
said wood. I don't know. Either way, it's thick. It's thick wood
Yeah,
/
it is.
materials.
Dick.
2 C's. 2 C's.
Fuck yeah.
Ben is saying, haven't y'all reviewed Leatherman's before? And he's got a point. We have done
Yep,
that.
yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we did.
that is a good
Okay.
point.
We do.
Yeah.
We haven't done axes though. I don't think we should do
Not yet.
axes. I like my axes. I'm
I'd
gonna
like-
go get my pole axe now.
Does that count? Well, yeah.
It's an act.
I've chopped wood with it.
Have you
True
really?
story.
Of course I have.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, that makes me so happy. Oh, that's so stupid.
it's tough.
I'd like to,
Pretty tough.
I'd like to get into some weird shit like that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He hasn't taken it out with us, but the reason why he did cut down the handle is so it was a nice walking stick height.
I
Nice.
wanted to be shepherd's axe type of style, but like medieval zombie style shepherd's axe.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Oh, did you get Paul? Did it happen?
So close.
Oh, one of these days. Yeah, it's kind of one of those things too, where like I think about, man, there's so many freaking pocket knife reviewers. Like what, like should we diversify? Should we be looking at other stuff? But man, I love pocket knives, and it's an easy thing to go on tangents about. It's easy to compare them to each other because there's such variety.
Okay, so here's the other thing. We just had a comment about steak knives. Are we going to actually think about grading steak knives? How do you do pocket ergos?
Well,
On 2 categories.
How well do they fit in the box?
The shuffle.
How well does the box fit in a drawer?
Do they make noise?
yeah. Okay, so like there would have to be some sort of translation. Pocket ergos would have to become like table ergonomics. How well does it sit next to your plate? Does it get in the way when you're reaching for other shit? Does it rattle
it sit
back?
still nicely, or does it tend to spin on you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
does it hover
Does it spin?
on that
Does it
titanium
tilt?
tube? Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. All that shit. I think it's translatable. We could review it if people want it. I think it'd be kind of a fun review. It's a
I
goof.
think
Could be interesting.
I think
I
Joe's
think I
trying
lost the
to
conversation. What are we planning on reviewing now?
the steak knives, and I think Joe's trying to make an excuse for another knife that probably 12 million other knives would probably be better for,
Oh,
like
yeah,
he
probably.
always does.
No,
Spyderco Rock,
but-
Spyderco Rock. Anyway,
Yeah. You'll
Mr.
never
Mulligan-
forgive me for that, will you?
no, that will stick with you till we don't have a channel anymore.
What was this about the Spyderco Rock?
The piercing power of a Spyderco Rock.
I mean,
It's a convincing argument. It's not. It's not.
Next poll.
no, I want to talk about the fact that Mr. Fisk is making fun of my gray hair in chat.
Oh,
It's been a
I
hard
noticed.
year, bro.
I noticed.
Paul's old.
Younger than both you and Dennis.
yeah.
I'm just going gray around the muzzle, like
as if the
Mine- mine
Mario
blends a
stickers
little-
were not a hint. I'm the baby, so.
Yeah.
I'm going to get some
Yeah,
of that
mine-
just for men and get rid of it for Fisk.
Mine is very not obvious on camera, but I've definitely got some myself.
Yeah.
Paul's or Nigel's the redhead. He's just going to turn more and more blonde as time goes on, type of thing, right? Like
It's gonna be a weird.
I've got some pretty
transition
good white ones.
yeah.
Like it's not really gray; it's white.
The only problem that I have with it is that the gray ones come in a different consistency. They're like stiffer. They
Yep.
stick out randomly like wire.
They're wiry.
Yeah, more scraggly.
Yeah.
We will have a steak dinner with them.
Yes. That is the right way to review those knives.
Mhm.
But we need the company to be able to write them off so we can actually product test them, because there's no way the four of us. Well, is the four of us chipping in for steak knives? Is that going to
Hey,
be a thing?
I mean, if we could split it 4 ways. I mean,
we could
Somebody make me a
customize.
sheet for it
I'll
afterwards?
make Kydex sheets.
We could put a logo. If you can put a cat's face on them, we could put the Pokey Factor logo on them.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Brutal.
Oh no.
You all know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
That we do.
On that note, I'm running away
Next
from that
poll.
Next poll, indeed.
So we asked the question of chat: do you give knives as gifts, or do you find it superstitious that you're gonna cut the friendship?
And
Only 13% are superstitious.
Good.
87% overwhelmingly said no. Knives are awesome gifts. 27-4.
good. That's the way it should be. In my humble opinion, of course.
I'm not addressing Mr. Fisk's comment in chat because he's mean, and I thought we were friends.
Oh,
So, yeah. And he's not with us tonight, I don't think. I would have been hoping that Kiefer was actually in chat tonight so he could answer why he finds, like, what part of the superstition is really strong for him. Because he was the only person that regularly watches that actually voted that way.
Righto.
Yeah. Although Clifford Barron, one of our first winners in a giveaway, he voted also superstitious. Sorry.
So, on a nice note for the people that do find it superstitious, the way around the superstition of it severing your friendship is put a penny or nickel or some small amount of money in the box with the knife. And then when you gift it to the person is supposed to give you back that money. And then that way they've bought the knife from you rather than it being a gift. So that way it won't sever the friendship.
I like it.
See,
I haven't-
and if you
I
keep
thought-
the money, that's a straight message that you are no longer friends.
Yeah.
I just had like a Mr. Bean kind of skit play out in my head where he gets the knife and the penny and like puts it deliberately in his pocket and walks away.
Yeah. What were you about to say, Dennis?
Oh, it's fine. I was just going to say, I thought Nigel was going to say, in order to get around the superstition, you like, share, and subscribe. But
That too, yes. That would have been a good opportunity.
That would have been a good answer.
it would have been. It would have been a good answer.
Yeah. Totally missed it.
Awful.
You're only
Awful.
human.
All right, I'm like Mr. Salesman tonight. I don't even know why. Like it's.
Yikes.
I have to counterbalance the being in the woods yesterday. By the way, gorgeous. Go look at Nigel's picture because
Beautiful out there.
It was a
yesterday.
really pretty
Yeah.
picture.
that was sunrise as we were watching the sun come off of the clouds, come off of the trees, and then hit us from sunrise. It was pretty. It was a good day. Yeah.
Mhm.
Sunrise today was really nice, and even nightfall was really nice and pink.
Yeah,
as well.
I did a quick post on my story this evening. I just looked out my window and everything was pink and
Nice.
it was so pretty out tonight.
Damn it, Dennis, we're having a nice moment. You bastard.
Easy to it.
Oh,
We put out to the audience asking people questions. I specifically stated knife-related questions, and maybe that was our downfall. We only got 5 responses this week. and they're not all serious. And this is where I alluded to in last video about Darren being a troll. He was the first response we got. And his response was, why is science bullshit?
There's no good answer I could give. I'm passing on this one.
I know why. I know why science is bullshit, but it's not the answer that anyone's gonna like. Is because that's the knowledge that we have. Our science is infallible until new science proves it wrong.
Okay, my different take on it is science is bullshit because it's really just fucking around and playing around and messing around with shit. But science is writing that down of what you've done while you've fucked around and messed around and played around with shit.
As long as it's a repeatable, like you said, if it's a repeatable thing, then it becomes a technique, right? So
All of a
it has
sudden,
to be
we're Mythbusters over here.
So here's
What was that, Paul?
I said, all of a sudden, we're Mythbusters over here.
Yeah. The reason for me that science is bullshit is the idea that the more simple the thing you're trying to prove, the more difficult it is to prove it conclusively.
I don't know, man. I
would say
gravity works.
science-
Why does it work?
That's not really a simple thing, though.
But it's a simple, obvious, easy to see
In day-to-day
the real world
life.
thing.
It's
You
like
can prove
water.
that you can prove that it exists, but
It does have a
Why does it work?
simple effect, but it itself is not a simple thing.
I suppose not. But I suppose I should phrase that differently. More like, the more obvious the thing, the harder it can be to prove.
The life principle of, like you said, how does gravity work? Water displacement. Why does the water go up?
Magnets.
Like, yes, it's very obvious that's, but if you scientifically explain densities and blah, 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 that's not an easy explanation, right? Like, it's...
Yeah.
So
The
if you want to get into the
problem is-
science of it compared to the simplicity of the answer of it, those are two different things, for sure.
The root of the problem, I think, is that think about like the average human being and how fucking stupid they are, right?
We all
And then
work
think
retail.
about the fact that half of the rest of the people on the planet are dumber than them.
Yep.
Okay, but that's not science.
I'm not saying,
Yeah,
but explaining
It is a
science to
fair
other
point,
people
but I
and
don't know
people
what
taking it as
context it has
bullshit.
with the question.
No.
I was going to say about my theory about science being infallible. And I've talked about it recently with doctors, and we're not going to get into it too in depth. But think about doctors with eggs. And over the last 50 years, on how many opinions on eggs there have been about good and bad, and this part is good, and this part is bad, or this part is good,
What type of
or they're all bad.
cholesterol is good? And
You bet. Or
Yeah.
a duck egg is good, but an ostrich egg is way too filling. Like, that feeds four. Like, it's
Ducks were
serious.
good for you, then they were bad for you, then they were good for you again.
Yeah.
So, again, like, I don't even know what Darren... He needs to repeat it because he's going off about something. But
We
I was going to say, I
we all
can't
took
find
it way
his
too
answer.
seriously. We took it all way too seriously.
Oh, is that what the...
That's the takeaway.
Justin
he
asked-
asked, so...
That's it. Justin just asked us in chat who makes the best beef jerky in Calgary. And what was that stuff that we got recently? Was that from Ryan's Meats?
Ryan's Meats makes a mean jerky. For
He
sure.
does,
Pretty
yeah.
damn good.
Wild game, he will process things like that, but...
Apparently not at the moment, just because he's been so busy with other stuff.
Yes.
The deer that I got that ton out of was declined by Ryan's.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yep.
Interesting.
Mr. Fisk is saying that I was just my own example, so thanks, friend. I guess I guess I deserve it for coming up with a poll last week about you versus a wet paper bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of deserve it.
But
Like no one even Paul didn't even ask. He just put that up, and then he told us that he put that up.
You liar.
There was no discussion about it. There was just
You
like,
liar.
yeah.
This is Dennis in real time picking up Paul by the scruff of his neck and just yeeting him under a bus.
Good luck lifting me and yeeting me.
That being said, Mr. Fisk, the scientific method, fuck around and find out. Yes, I agree, 100%. That makes me smile.
Can I get that on a t-shirt, please?
That is in line with my answer. It's how it's only science if you're writing down the results of your fucking around.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can find out.
The act
And
of
if you
finding
rate them down, if you rate them down enough, and they happen to be the same rating downs, then that's science.
Yes.
Dennis, that still
Hey,
tracks,
this is being
but
my example now. Cool.
barely, barely tracks.
Don't
we have
judge.
No, not too hard.
Right.
Do we have any other responses?
Oh, we do. Gear in situ is asking if we would be open to guests on our live streams.
Could be interesting.
Theoretically.
Yeah.
We've had Morgan out before and stuff like that. And I wouldn't
Okay.
say he's a guest either. The
So
fifth.
we've talked about doing shows like a New Year's Eve show, even where it's a
Mhm.
live streaming. Anyone wants to come on, open, invite, blah blah blah. So we might actually do that New Year's Eve, depending on what's going on. I think that would be fun as hell. The problem is I don't think enough people would sit down and live stream with us because they're doing New Year's Eve things.
New Year's Eve.
So
Yeah.
It might be fun for the five of us entertaining each other, but as far as anyone else, yeah.
Just a quick
who's
interjection
the
here.
fifth person?
The
Have a good
guest-
night, Darren.
Take
Darren?
care.
Yeah, Darren.
All right, brother.
Yeah, the fifth person is the hypothetical. Whoever would be guest joining us.
So you're assuming we'll have one viewer.
At least. I mean, maybe two. Somewhere between 1 and 2.
I almost got Paul again. It was close. It was close.
One of these days.
Bang.
I don't like the spit. Grapefruit.
Oh, I do like the idea of guests as well as like other YouTubers, blah 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 type of thing. But it's always tricky because
Different time zones is a big thing.
different time zones, any sort of professionality. You're hoping someone can actually talk on camera and not make a complete jackass any more than the rest of us do already, type of thing.
Yeah.
But we still have filters of some sort. Like
Yeah.
it's while we're live.
Yeah, and as far as like the notes of like any sort of weirdness that might happen, as far as like even if someone's able to talk on camera, like sure they might be able to talk on camera, but then can they click with the rest of us and still carry on conversations and stuff? And
What I was going to say was exactly that,
We
but
barely
Yeah.
do that.
Hey. I'll chalk that up to technical issues. In person, we're pretty good with a little bit of a vocal delay. Yeah, but it's
What I
yeah.
was going to say though is that
Yeah.
it's probably going to be somebody that we're already talking to. We would be talking to them on a regular basis and be like, "Hey, you'd be a good fit. You should come on the show," rather than just being like, "I've never talked to that person before. Fuck it, let's have them on."
yeah.
But it is
Whereas,
worth
like
considering.
I was saying, the live stream New Year's Eve, blah blah blah. If there was enough interest, I think that would be a great time.
Yeah,
But I also, at the same time, just want to hang out with you guys in person if we're allowed to.
Yeah.
Would be nice.
dude.
Yeah.
So-
And if we are lucky enough to have that happen, doesn't mean we can't still live stream it anyways.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Have questions as we're screwing around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Only if
But
I can
yeah.
have grapefruit beer.
If you want.
I do.
Yeah. It is getting again to that mandated break time again here.
Already. Oh wow.
Nigel is all uppity. Our second video is going to be super short. It's
Yeah, it's
we had a 10-minute break.
Yeah. But it seemed like
We
a
all have a
nice
few
kind of
edges left.
lull in the conversation, a natural tapered out there, and yeah, so
There is a lull in the conversation, but I'm going to throw it out there just because we have a couple minutes and I was thinking about it. I know third episode we're going to be BSing or whatever, but we might as well throw it into the second episode. Go back and watch our last video that we just streamed. It'll be the Tuesday video compared to the Friday video, blah, blah, blah. But what do you all think about the consistency on Lion Steel's heat treatment on the new Spy